Good morning. Welcome to a Sunday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing. HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. What a busy day, Saturday. Busy day in the sporting world, especially here locally. So LSU falls at Arkansas. It's unfortunate. Excuse me, at home against Arkansas, 65-58. Boy, they had an opportunity with a lead in the second half, under 10 minutes to play, with J.D. Note getting his fourth foul and going to the bench. And you thought, man, that's the opportunity that LSU had to extend the lead and kind of put the game away. You kind of felt like, Fudge had the big dunk, kind of felt like maybe LSU had him on the ropes. And they kept coming up with empty possessions. And Arkansas went on a 10-0 run to retake the lead. And then, of course, they iced it at the free throw line with a couple of LSU turnovers. So, man, just a really disappointing loss because we talked so much about taking care of business at home, and especially in this early going here and splitting on the road. And boy, to fall at home to Arkansas without their head coach is just a really disappointing loss for this team. And now your next two games are on the road at Alabama, at Tennessee. We've talked for so long about how bad LSU has been at Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa over the years. Really tough place to play. And then, you're going to go to Tennessee, who just got blasted yesterday by Kentucky. So, anyway, very, very disappointing loss yesterday. But, look, we talked about it. LSU's first 7 games are a meat grinder. My optimistic viewpoint was go 5-2 in those first 7. Will Wade, kind of off the record, would tell you, if you can get through it 4-3, which obviously now you hope you can do with a couple of road games ahead if you can split these. But they're going to be favored the rest of the way, except for their game at Kentucky. You got to get through this meat grinder early. LSU football gets another commitment, this time from Virginia linebacker West Weeks. West Weeks is committed. So, guy played a lot of football at UVA, but broke his leg in their season finale. So don't know if he'll be available for spring football, but UVA as a new coach, new defensive coordinator. So obviously you're talking about a guy who played. He was just a freshman. This was his freshman season. 2021 was his freshman year at UVA. So played one season, played a lot as a true freshman. So, but after the year, after the transfer portal, and now he's headed to LSU. So you have a young guy who's played major college football, who has been out on the field, who definitely helps you at a position of great need, because aside from Greg Penn and Mike Jones, you really don't have much experience, or any experience really, at linebacker. So that was big as well. All right, let's say some good mornings, see what y'all got, and then we can obviously talk about the NFL playoffs as well. Burrow and the Bengals get a win, and then, golly, the Bills just blasted New England. I had New England in the game. I played them plus the 4.5, but I picked them to win on Friday. Boy, that was never close. Josh Higginbotham, Bart St. Germain, good morning. Nathan McCartney, Matt, do you think we renew Nike deal this year or go to something new like Under Armour? LSU? Oh, I'm sure LSU will renew Nike. I haven't heard anything otherwise. Jeff McKithen, Jared Oquin, Ryan Amanda Guidry. We were at the basketball game, left disappointed. We way better than that. Yeah, look, yes. LSU is better than they played in that ball game. There's no question. I was texting with some friends after the game. It was almost like the scene in Varsity Blues where they go do the all-nighter at the club, and they come out in sunlight, and they got to go play the game all hungover. That's what it felt like. Now, Arkansas is a good team, y'all. Arkansas is don't let their record deceive you. That's a good basketball team, especially defensively. And they want to, excuse me, they want to muddy up games, and they did. And LSU really struggled to score around the rim. How many times brutal day for Darius Days. Not to call him out personally, but I mean, everybody struggled. How many times did LSU have open looks at the rim and couldn't finish? I mean, it was just one of those days. I mean, you know, scored 68 points on your home floor. You did your part defensively, and you held them under their team total. I mean, you were 38% from the floor, 26% from three, 11 of 17. They 5 of 19. They were 5 of 17. Free throws were they were 14 of 18. You were 11 of 17. You missed 6 free throws, which is uncharacteristic. 64% free throw. You got out rebounded by 10. That was the big one there, obviously. And then the turnovers. I mean, you forced 19 turnovers, but you gave it away 16 times. I mean, that was the difference. It was LSU's lazy passes. Arkansas did to LSU what LSU does to most teams, and did to Arkansas, quite honestly, but it just cost LSU. They wasted too many possessions. Defensively, LSU was good enough to win that game. Ryan Jackson, Schmoke CeeLo. What's going on, man? Good morning. Shelby Kelly, good morning. Kyle, Allen, Matt, love you, bro. Thank you, Kyle. I love you, too. Todd Harris, Charlie Cavell, Blaine Smith, great win for the Bengals. LSU needs to get the ball movement going on offense. A lot of ISO, bad shot selection. Yesterday it was. No doubt it was. Debbie Jenkins, good morning. Hey, Dad. Clinton Auta, good morning. I think the next game will be a tough one. Winning on the road to Tennessee doesn't seem too difficult. Knock on wood there, Clint. I mean, you hate to lose a game at home. You've already beaten Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee just got blasted at Rupp. But that's still a team that is a good basketball team, man. They got veteran players. Vescovy can fill it up. Fulkerson's a really veteran big. I'll tell you, Tennessee's going to be favored in that game on their home floor. And I'm looking at their last 5. They've lost their road games and won their home games. They beat Ole Miss and South Carolina at home. They lost at Bama, at LSU, at Kentucky. So, I mean, you can look at their 2-3 conference record and say they stink, or you could say they lost to some of the best teams in the league. So, I wouldn't just scribble the W on the schedule poster, but that's one they probably need to get to offset this one. Pat Houston, Robert LeBlanc, Edward O, good morning. LSU Sway, good morning from a frozen ATL. Hunter Perriman, Con Lee, good morning. Need X, yes. LSU needs Xavier Pinson back badly. Doesn't it make it even more impressive that they were able to win at Florida without him when you see what happened yesterday? And it's no great disrespect or anything to Eric Gaines, who tried his best. I'm not saying you put it on him at all, but Gaines had 14 points in the ball game, 6 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals. Played really well. He had 3 offensive rebounds. He had 4 turnovers in the game. But when your floor general, the sort of head of the snake, so to speak, isn't there, it matters. I mean, and the offense was stagnant. They took bad shots, and everything that people are saying, it's true. It's true. Chris Anthony, my man Matt, I appreciate the work you do. Always keep us informed. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Samuel Merrifield, Matt, it's amazing how many LSU basketball players are considered preseason All-Americans. Very impressive and exciting. Oh, baseball players. Sorry, baseball. I didn't see a preseason All-American list. I know, Samuel, that Perfect Game is releasing their top 100 freshmen, top 100 sophomores, top 100 juniors, top 100 seniors. And LSU's got a bunch of guys listed there. So they are loaded, man. LSU baseball, especially offensively, is loaded, and they're gonna slug the baseball, and they got arms. They just got to figure out their rotation. Spurge, good morning. Apollo Balboa, 1985. LSU now 3-2 in the SEC. Who's the best team in the SEC? Well, Auburn's the best team in the SEC. I think Auburn, Kentucky, LSU have kind of broken above the fold, right? Like, I think you look at those three and say that's the three best teams in the league. Say, what about Arkansas? They just beat LSU. Yeah, Arkansas is a really good team. They're a tournament team. I mean, they were ranked before they stubbed their toe at the start of conference. Tough league. You lose games. It's a really good league. I mean, LSU beat Kentucky. And Kentucky went and beat Tennessee by 40 yesterday. It was crazy. They scored 107. I mean, it was insane. Glenn Garner, good morning. 4 inches of snow in Baldwin, GA. Wow. Adam Fontenot, hope you didn't lay too much on the Pats. Nah, I didn't. Small bet. But I did. I did bet the Patriots. I actually took them. I took the points, actually. I did take the 4.5, but small bet. LSU sway, how about Joey B? How about it, man? First playoff win. Think about it. They hadn't won a playoff game in 30 years. And I guess 31 years, right? Because it was the 1990 season, the 1991 playoffs. And you go that long without winning a playoff game. You draft Joe Burrow, and then his second year, he wins the division in a playoff game. The dude's just a winner, man. It just, culturally, some dudes are just wired different. We know it because we saw it here. But, like, he will win a Super Bowl there. It's crazy, but he will win a Super Bowl there. Trivia Carter, good morning. Shane O'Mac, grab your booties because it's cold outside. LSU sway off. Yeah, but so Erica and I went to dinner last night at Rufino's for anniversary. And, it wasn't cold. It's just the temperature dropped all day yesterday. By the time we got out the car to go there, I was like, man, it's freezing. And then when we got out the restaurant, it was like, man, I wish I had a trench coat. It was freezing last night. I mean, I think we might have gotten into around 30. Did we get to freezing last night? I think we did. Shout out to Brock, y'all. brortho.com. New year, new career. Brock is hiring. brortho.com. And, of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Commercial or residential, repairs, replacements, soft wash. We can soft wash your roof or your home. hudcoroofing.com. Let's see. Offense last night was horrible during the first half. Didn't get a chance to watch the second half. They couldn't get a bucket to drain. Yep. Colton Mack, Pinson is not going to make up for the scoring drought in the second half. Colton, but yeah, he does, right? When he is your facilitator, he finds the open guy and your offense runs through Xavier Pinson. So yeah, I'm not telling you that Pinson's going to go off and create his own offense, but he will create for the offense. That's the difference. Sean Chappelle, good morning. Glenn Garner, do you think the Bengals can win the division? They did win their division. I mean, they won their division this year in the AFC North. Let's go, Brandon. Sorry. Normally I just say Brandon, but now you got me that time. That's pretty funny, though. This team lives in foul trouble. Did you notice? And so the fouls did even out. I think actually Arkansas had more team fouls than LSU did. Arkansas had 18, LSU had 21, so it was close. But they got to the under 8 timeout, or they were just at the under 8 timeout. The whistle for the under 8 timeout was a foul against Arkansas. That was the first foul call against Arkansas the whole game. LSU had 7 against them, and LSU did not have a foul, or Arkansas did not have a foul called against them until under 8, at the under 8 timeout. And then they had 4 in like 40 seconds. It was like 46 seconds. They had 4 called against. It was like, oh, the refs like, we better even this out a little bit. Stuart Boudreaux, good morning from the snowy wonderland of North Mississippi. Snow in North Mississippi, huh? Ryan Pike, give locks for today, Matt. Who we making money off of? You know what, man? I wouldn't take my locks. I mean, I did give you the Bengals to win and cover, and but I gave you the Patriots yesterday, so I split. I went 1-1 yesterday. As far as today's ball games, I do like the Bucks. They're laying 7.5, which is a big number. But I don't think that one's particularly competitive. I think the Bucks' run defense does just fine against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Your Tom Brady playoffs home game. I do like Tampa. I like the Niners to win in Dallas. Dallas is a 3-point favorite. I just think the physicality of the Niners probably wins this game. If Dak's playing his best, Dallas, I think, could beat anybody. That's just been a hit or miss proposition this year. So I think I'm going to take the Niners to win, and then Chiefs. The Chiefs over the Steelers, I think, big. It's the line's 12.5. It's hard to lay 12.5 in an NFL game, but I don't know what the Steelers can do. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. Ben Roethlisberger, you're probably emotional his last game. But boy, that number is awful big. And I don't know that I want to mess with 12.5. I mean, if you want to lay the juice, you can make a money line play on KC, which I might do just to have some action on the game. But tough to look at. It's 35 degrees at Arrowhead tonight. So you have a night game on NBC. It's going to be freezing in Kansas City. That's tough. Tough to lay 12.5. But I like Kansas City in the game. Let's see. Will Wade owes Nate Oates and Bama a nice beating. Yeah, Nate Oates is kind of an a-hole. But some people say the same thing about Will. Let's see. Morning, Matt. What's good? Hope you had a great night. Like the video of you and Drew. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, we went elevator riding yesterday. Let's see. Shane O'Mac, did you see Schefter's tweet saying Russell Wilson wants to explore options? I did not, but that shouldn't be surprising. I mean, he was in the same spot before last year. You can't imagine like missing the playoffs would put him in a spot where he's confident about staying there. Rapid Batches, what's up? Hunter Perryman, good morning. Darius Days has to shoot better. They all have to shoot better. Matt Pellegrin, Thibodeau native here. Okay. Lace will be a contributor, similar body type to Lee, but he's exceptional athlete with the ball in space. Excited to see a Thibodeau High kid at LSU again. Yeah, man. Kyron Lacey from Thibodeau spent first few years of his career there at ULL. I think he's bigger than Devontae Lee, man. But yeah, and look, they got 6 scholarship wide receivers. They got Landon Ibieta coming in as part of this class, which makes 7. So then Kyron Lacey makes 8. So they're getting their numbers back there. Rude Yule, bad day for a lot of ranked teams. Baylor, USC, Michigan State, Texas Tech, Bama, all lost. Yep. I mean, Texas Tech lost at Kansas State. It's just tough, bro. It's college basketball. It's tough. The thing that was really disappointing yesterday was LSU losing at home. It's going to be tough on the road. We've talked about that all. But you packed out the PMAC. Sellout crowd, which was not intimidating at all. I don't know what I wasn't there, but it sounded dead on TV. But whatever. Yeah, but losing the home game stinks. Jerry DeLucky, what's good, man? Is O'Neal on a so-called pitch count as well as played a limited amount? No, look, he was on a minutes restriction when he first came back. I don't know if that's still there, but he's just part of the rotation. I mean, if you put Sharif on the floor, you're taking either Eason or Reed likely off the floor. So whose minutes are you taking away to put Sharif on the floor? Right now it looks like Efton Reed. Which is okay, and you want him part of the rotation, but I don't know that Sharif's going to be a guy that gives you 25 minutes a night. Jonathan Martin, Heath Williams, Wade may need to sit Reed until half every game. Seems like he's always one foul away from going to the bench. Yeah, and look, you said they need to stop trying to knock the ball away after the other teams. They do reach a lot. They do get reaching fouls. But the aggressiveness is how this team creates opportunity. I mean, they are always trying to knock balls loose, to deflect balls, lazy passes, strip ball. Like, that's what they do. So you're going to get a lot of reaching fouls. That's going to happen. But I would also say that, but you also create opportunities, like forcing, 21 turnovers or whatever it was, 19 turnovers yesterday. You have to convert those into offense, which they didn't do yesterday. Matt, why haven't we seen more of Fudge's game, like that aggressive athletic dunk? I think we're about to, Patrick. It's a good point. That was awesome. I mean, shot fake, got the guy off his feet, drove to the rim. I mean, tomahawk slam was awesome. You're going to see more of that. Some of that is just these guys growing up, man. Like, when you're Alex Fudge and you look like a pterodactyl, in high school, nobody can deal with you. All of a sudden now you're amongst the trees. You have to refine your game. And that's going to come. You forget these guys are 5 games into their SEC career, So that's going to come. I mean, think about Tyrus Thomas. He's an outlier, but he's the best example of it. He's a guy that was 6'10", long, looked a lot like Fudge on the floor, redshirted. Adam McKinley redshirted his first year at LSU, and then didn't really develop until the second half of conference play. And by the time the tournament came around, it was like, who is this freak show? He goes second in the draft, Like, it could be that. You just got to be patient with some of these guys. Getting there like a baby giraffe, learning how to walk a little bit. Gulf South, other than the 2 Arkansas DBs, I wonder if all these football transfers will live up to expectations once SEC play starts. Well, the thing, it's a good question, but your only other option, Gulf South, is sign 25 high schoolers and don't sign transfers. And if you're just looking at numbers, LSU, I know they had 38 available for the bowl game, but after transfer portal and guys early to the draft, et cetera, they were in the low 50s, right? So, or maybe low mid 50s. So, I mean, you've got 30, you're down 30 scholarships. Just to fill out your scholarship roster, you've got to add transfers. So you're going to add your high school signees, but then you got to add transfers on top of that. So whether they pan out or not, you've got to fill out your roster. So the way you do that, especially this year, is transfer portal. So you get guys that have college experience. So it's almost like they've been in the minor leagues, ready to come up to the majors. So, I mean, is West Weeks, going to come in and be a 120 tackle guy for LSU? Probably not. But I like the fact that that's a guy that has Power 5 college experience at the linebacker position and proved he could play, as opposed to getting a 3-star right out of high school and needing to count on that guy for significant snaps. You know what I mean? Trey Guy, appreciate you, Matt. Need the morning scone like a cup of coffee. Come on, people, smash the like button. Thank you, Trey. Appreciate that. Speaking of coffee. 144 watching on YouTube. Thank you for that. 44 likes. Let's please get that like button smashed. 84 watching on Facebook. Appreciate you all. Kimzo Elliott, thoughts on Drew Brees' commentary on the game yesterday? I thought Drew did a good job. He's coming into his own. It's not an easy thing to do, but Drew knows the game so much. He knows the game so well that and he's had the chance to work the Notre Dame games all season with Mike Tirico, so I've heard him a little bit. That comes along. Ryan Dixon, will Terrio have a game coin? Not a bad idea. I would if I were him. Blaine Smith, is Baskerville staying or leaving? Going pro. Jared Oakwan, I think Auburn is the best team in the country. I think they're going to be ranked number 1 in the country on Monday. Rhoda Ewell, don't sleep on A&M. I'm not sold on. I am sleeping on A&M. I'm totally going to sleep on them. I know it's year 3 for Buzz. I think he's a good coach. I think they're a product of schedule and some hot shooting. I am sleeping on A&M. I don't think they're that good. Reagan Lee, the longer the wait, the more I feel like Hankton may be staying. Thoughts? I don't think so, Reagan. Samuel Merrifield, Jerome Bogart is the worst ref in the NFL, hands down. You know what they are doing in the playoffs, so that I like, is they're effectively using Sky Judge, where they have the official watching the game at the review center that can tell them in their ear if they got a call wrong, which expedites a review. There was a play in the game with the Bengals where it was Renfro on the sideline, looked like he made a catch, but the defender knocked the ball out, and so they ruled it a catch and a fumble out of bounds. Well, the replay center got in their ear and was like, "Hey, it's an incomplete pass." So very quickly they came in and said, "Incomplete pass." Like, that's the benefit of Sky Judge. Otherwise, you would have had to throw a challenge flag. Ref would have to run to the sideline, watch the thing in the little tiny screen. Then it's this whole delay. I mean, why not just boom, boom, done, move on? I mean, it worked perfectly right there. Let's see, Ryan Dixon. Doesn't it seem LSU basketball recruiting at the level they are is a good sign? Wade is here to stay. Keep in mind, if you're recruiting 5-stars, they're likely one and dones. No doubt Will has to answer that question to every recruit they talk to. And I think LSU, yes, wants Will Wade to be here for the long term. I mean, why would anybody want Will Wade not to be here? But Ryan, I mean, you're drawing a presumptive conclusion when you and I don't know what the NCAA is going to do. Like, that's the tough part. So, does LSU want him here? Absolutely. But what happens if they get an NOA, and I think if when LSU gets an NOA, they will retain Will Wade. Like, I don't think they're going to fire him for cause. I think the tough part is when the NCAA hands out punishment, does Will Wade get a show cause? And if he does, I think that's when you have a really tough decision to make. Blaine Smith, Jay Johnson admitted pitching may be a challenge and they will be creative. Yeah, played that audio this week on AFR. Jay Johnson was at the Rotary Club meeting, and he essentially talked through how they're going to make it through a game. And so maybe longer games because you may have to go to your closer, so to speak, in the sixth inning. And if you have to piece it together in the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, the rest of the way, that's just what you do if you have to do it to get through the game. So, Reagan Lee sounds like Ali Gay is leaning towards staying. I saw that yesterday on Twitter. Nothing officially from Ali Gay. That would be great. I mean, that would be massive if you got Ali Gay back because, Gay and Anthony both injured. It kind of forced Mason Smith outside for part of the season. And, I don't know that you've necessarily recruited the prototypical D end. You got Xavier Carter out there. Yeah, I mean, you got some bodies, but, Ali Gay, I think, as a third-year player would be massive if you could get him back. Snow flurries in Homa. Wow. Not like that here. Jared O'Quinn, LSU left so many points in the paint. It was a rough game. It was. Deborah Coward, good morning. Michael Cook, good morning. Do you think LSU's aggressive defense is part of the reason the high foul count? Absolutely. I mean, that's not even a question. Of course that's a part of it. And you're going to have to live with that. And I'm okay with that. But when you force turnovers, first of all, LSU's got to be smart. You can't get silly reaching fouls. I'm okay with fouls from being aggressive. And I don't know if you noticed, but Will said it after the game on Wednesday. He said, look, I'm not sending video to the league office. We're just going to do better about showing our hands. And I don't know if you noticed, but pay attention how many times guys, when a defender was driving, LSU defender put his hands out, like show your hands, so you show you're not grabbing or reaching or pulling. And a lot of time the offensive player was the one initiating the contact. So it was very obvious that was a huge attempt yesterday. Still netted 21 fouls. Right. Eric Wilderrider, try not to be prisoner of the moment. Will LSU's offensive efficiency But LSU's offensive efficiency is below anyone that's made the Final Four since 2002. Defense clearly, I don't know if that's enough. Eric, that's a fair question. What I'll say was disappointing about yesterday is if you look at the offensive efficiency in the previous 3 games, you had seen it going up. Since the loss at Auburn, they had reduced the number of three-pointers. They were converting in the paint. Their field goal percentage was going up. Their three-point percentage was going up. Yesterday was a day where they couldn't throw it in the ocean. I mean, they had good looks, and you credit Arkansas because they contested everything. Arkansas is a really good defensive team, y'all. They are, and they contested everything. So it's one of them days, man. It happens. I mean, the conversation we were having after the win at Florida was about how much they were improved offensively. And let me see him with Xavier Pinson back on the floor. I mean, he's your point guard. He's running the show for you. You need that guy out there. Keith H., good morning. Rapid batches. The one game I've missed in the PMAC all season is the one they lose. Figures. Stupid COVID. John Lucius, last Cincinnati playoff win was the Bo Jackson injury game. Oh, wow. No kidding, huh? Good factoid there. Hunter Perriman, 38 degrees here in Walker. May not be 4 inches like Georgia, but it's cold. Ryan Pike, if y'all are betting on anything today, I'd like your input. I already have the 49ers plus 3. What else we got? Keith H., what's good, Matt? What's your real quick assessment of the recruiting class with the recent portal transfers? Need a little HUDCO hustle. All right, here comes your HUDCO hustle. Here it is. Ready?
HUDCO roofing. HUDCO roofing. When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio. All you need is HUDCO. HUDCO roofing. HUDCO roofing. Call HUDCO roofing. 364-1007.
All right, y'all. Travis Broussard, good morning. SEC is the deepest basketball conference in America. Not even close. Also, officials do look at the scoreboard and even fouls out. I bet they did yesterday. Excuse me. Jordan Commander, Matt, had a follow-up question from the AMA. You made the example of buying the bronze coins when they were in high school. Are you implying that once they made it big, you can sell it for a profit? Yes. Oh, absolutely. Like the tokens can be collected and traded and sold. Absolutely. That's the appeal. And if you are the athlete, you have your own smart contract. So in a smart contract, you can write a perpetual royalty. So for example, let's say Walker Howard has a game coin token, and you buy Walker Howard's game coin token while he's a freshman at LSU. He goes on to be an All-American, wins a Heisman, goes first overall in the draft, and wins 3 Super Bowls. Well, your Walker Howard token has now increased exponentially in value. So you made a lot of money on that. And if you go to sell it, if Walker Howard put a perpetual royalty on his token, let's say it's a 3% royalty, whatever. When you sell it, Walker Howard gets 3% of that sale in perpetuity, forever. And then the next person who sells it, and the next person, forever, he gets a 3% royalty on that. How about that? That's crypto. That's why smart contracts in crypto are game changers. That's why why wouldn't any athlete, do that? I mean, you're betting on yourself, and you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Cliff Nelson, good morning. Happy Sunday. Hashtag Team Drew. You say that, Cliff. How you like it, man? Little Team Drew shirt on today. Hunter Perriman, love seeing Drew commentate Joe's game. Yep. That'd be Drew Brees. True Louisianimal. Joseph Fallsgraf, good morning. Matt, I find myself at work singing the HUDCO jingle more often than I care to admit. Dude, Toby Tomplay, the king of the earworm. I'm telling you, he has created more jingles that you all hear on radio all the time than you likely know. Number one, Baylor lost to a bad Oklahoma State team last night. Yes, they did. Merrick Mathern, when do you start your new podcast since you're no longer doing Locked On? Also, who is doing Locked On? The new host of Locked On should, I'm not going to make that announcement. I'll let that person start. That should have started already. I'm surprised it hasn't. And I am set to launch a podcast called LSU Daily tomorrow. So look for it tomorrow. I think it actually is already up in the Apple and Google Play and Spotify and all the places you get your podcasts. So it's called LSU Daily. Simple, easy to understand. It's what it is. And it's going to be a lot of, the idea is that it will be available like when you wake up on whatever morning. So you will likely have a lot of LSU content from AFR, basically stripped down, condensed, packaged nicely into about 20 minutes or so for the next morning. Let's see. No Saint. I've seen growth in Gaines' play since he was forced to take over. Yeah, Gaines is getting better, no question. He's just not a veteran guy like Pinson. And Gaines can be really good, but Pinson's a better true point guard. Let's see. Boo Daddy, find it interesting ULL kids are committing to LSU, not following Napier to Florida. They've got a split. A couple of guys have already followed Napier to Florida from ULL. Wendell Norman, good morning, Matt. Let's see. Let's see, Gator. This was the running back. Montrell Johnson is the second one. Offensive tackle Cameron Waits is the other. So they have a running back and an offensive tackle who've gone from ULL to Florida. So they've had some. Wendell Norman, good morning. Cool to see what Brian Kelly and the coaches are bringing to the boot. Yes, indeed. Bubba Tatum, morning Sconers, being dragged to Tampa-Philly game today. Look for the guy in black and gold cheering for both teams to lose. Nice. Murder Giraffe, what's good? It's pretty hard to learn how to walk out. I got it. Christopher Smith, Hudco, good morning, Matt and Drew. How about a Hudco jingle? Just did it. Yes, sir. Joseph Armato, good morning. Hope you had a nice anniversary meal. We did. So went to Rufino's, and every time they take such good care of us there. We got there. They had a glass of champagne for each of us on the table when we showed up. Great meal. Had a great steak. Saw a lot of people we know, which is usually the case when we go over to Rufino's. Just awesome. Great spot. Yeah, we had a great time. Thank you. Ghastly Gamer. It's not uncharacteristic what they did at the free throw line. Every conference game, their free throw percentages in the 60s. That is a pattern. Pre-conferences was proving to be uncharacteristic. Well, this has been the outlier of the Ghastly Gamer because for Will Wade's entire tenure here, they've been so good at the free throw line. And his line was also he wanted to make more free throws than the opponent attempted, and they just haven't done that this year. In part because they're putting their opponent on the free throw line more often than they're getting there. Chances John Emery revitalizes his career, has a breakout season. I would have predicted that in 2021. I would have predicted he would have been the lead back this year. But instead it was Ty Davis Price because Emery didn't get on the field. Yeah, I mean, I think Emery and Noah Cain could be a really good 1-2 punch. I think those are your two best running backs. So, yeah, I think it's a good chance that he has a career season. It wouldn't take much. But, yeah. Hunter Perriman, also Wes Weeks' brother, now might have a good reason to come to LSU. Yep, he is a linebacker for 2023. Randall Offrecht. Can't wait for baseball. Matt, does the first few weeks of SEC play look like for LSU? What does the first few weeks look like? LSU got done no favors with the schedule. Like last year, for example, they had no back-to-back road series. I think they missed Vanderbilt as well last year. This year's brutal. You open up at home against A&M. Then you're at Florida. You're home against Auburn. You're at Mississippi State. So at Florida, at Mississippi State, at Arkansas, home against Missouri, home against Georgia, at Bama, home against Ole Miss, at Vanderbilt. Oh my God. So you're at Florida State and Vanderbilt and Arkansas. You're at Florida, at State, at Arkansas, at Vanderbilt. That is brutal. Good luck, bro. Good luck, Jay. We're pulling for you, brother. John DeRoche, what's up? Did the Saints get Derek Carr? I don't believe so. John DeRoche, Patrick Cason, like Drew's cameo in your video with Mark Rogers. Yeah, I was doing an interview with Mark Rogers yesterday. He's a college football guy. He's got a YouTube channel, and Drew was in here the whole time, and I kept like having my arm out, like holding him off while I talked. Y'all couldn't see it, but then one time he finally just walked around the back. He walked right behind me. Scotty Nero. LSU offense looked gassed or lazy in the second half. Yeah, there was no movement without the ball. That's true. And there were a lot of very lazy passes. A lot of these, like, one hand, let me, like, fire across the court passes that Arkansas just deflected. It was a very, very uninspired offensive day for LSU. Got loud in the PMAC a few times on defense. It was dead a lot. Just a trap game, seemed like all game. Yeah, 1 o'clock on Saturday is not ideal. Dex Gonzalez, tough loss. Gaines got some good minutes, but defensively he's not Pinson. Jeremy Kling, what's up? Blaine Smith, I'd save 4 spots post signing day. Oh, they will, Blaine. They're going to have more spots. They're not going to fill this class by February. I mean, yes, there will be more transfers post-spring. And look, keep in mind, LSU's going to lose guys post-spring as well. That's going to work both ways. You always go through spring football, and guys who aren't playing or don't like where they are on the depth chart or don't like their new coach or whatever it is, leave. So you're going to gain guys after. Look, last year, you got Major Burns after spring. You got Mike Jones after spring. So you're gonna gain and lose guys after spring football next year. Is there a limit on NIL money per kid, or is this going to turn to the highest bidder auction in college? No limit on NIL. And keep in mind, Aaron, teams, schools, athletic departments cannot facilitate NIL deals. Now, they can under the table say, hey, go talk to this guy. But, so of course it's going to happen. But no, there's no limit. And there shouldn't be. I'm a free market capitalist. Make whatever you can make, brother. This ain't socialism. Come on. JJ Tyler, Matt, do you think we're looking for another quarterback in the portal, or is this Miles Brennan's team? JJ, of course, your eyes are open. I mean, if there's a player out there that wants to come and you think he makes you better, you take him. I'm not going to tell you it's Miles Brennan's team, but I think he has the upper hand at winning the job. But I mean, I think you go into spring with a legit competition with your quarterbacks. Let's see stylistically what Brian Kelly wants to do. Maybe that's going to better suit Nussmeier. We'll see. Glenn Thomas, the Arkansas basketball team was trying to send a message, getting revenge for the football department. That's not true at all. Hey, come on, man. Arkansas basketball doesn't give a crap about football guys transferred to LSU. Come on. Come on, Glenn. Art, Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks transferred to LSU. We'll show you, basketball team. They were trying to win a game. They were desperate, man. They were 1-3 in conference. Arkansas desperately needs to get their thing going. It had nothing to do with football transfers. Come on, man. Are we looking at getting more transfers than high schoolers in the future? No, and keep in mind, John, you can't necessarily do that. And that's not a sustainable way to build your roster. But this is just one of those years where your numbers are so low that you have to sign transfers to boost your numbers. It's the same thing that Mel Tucker had to do at Michigan State. He inherited a program where the numbers were so low, he had to go to the transfer portal to boost up their numbers to be competitive. So that's what Brian Kelly's doing this year. Jared O'Quinn, wonder if when the NCAA will have full-time refs, there's entirely too much money to not go that route. No, there's actually not. Because keep in mind, the leagues pay officials, not the NCAA. And they're not going to go that route. I mean, the NFL doesn't have that, and there is that much money in the NFL. There isn't as much money in colleges and college conferences as in the NFL. So no, they're not going that route. And even if they did, they would still miss calls. Kyle Aycock, good morning. Matt, how would you assess LSU's running back situation? I think Noah Cain and John Emery would be at the top of the depth chart. I think Corey Kiner is a nice closer, fresh legs late in the game, spell the other guys. I think Armani Goodwin, I don't know anything about. He had like 5 carries this year. He and Trey Bradford look kind of like the same running back to me. And I would not be surprised if one of them transferred. And then, can you sign a guy like Trevante Citizen? I'd hope so. But we'll see. None of those guys have really done much. I mean, Noah Cain's been around for 3 years, had an injury which cost him the bulk of the season. But I would, last year anyway. And it kind of got beat out this year, so. Brian Madea, Reed, vastly overrated. The offense as a whole, garbage. Brian, to say Efton Reed is vastly overrated is very short-sighted, okay? You have a guy that's 6'11", that's athletic with soft hands, that made a 3 yesterday. Like, projectability, he is a high first-round NBA pick. I'm not just pointing the finger at you, Brian, but what many don't understand is when you are 6'10", 6'11", and you're that athletic, and you're playing high school, you dominate. You never see someone who looks like you. So for those guys, there is a transition. Like, you have to get used to playing against guys your size and being effective in other ways. That the skill set he has is a dominant skill set, but he's also going to grow into his body. He's going to put on more muscle. He's 18 years old, man. Like, he's going to grow into his body. He's going to get stronger. He's going to put on muscle. He's going to become a more savvy player. Look at Darius Days. Like, as he's, like, the Florida game, when Reed got in trouble, Days went and played in the block. Why? Because he's a good, savvy veteran player. Even at 6'5", he could do it. When Reed will grow into that, and some team's going to draft, if he goes pro this year, some team's going to draft him based on his measurables alone. He's not an overrated player. He's just a young player that needs to develop. He was dominant in the pre-conference against guys that he was physically better than. He's going up against guys that are kind of his physical equal, and he's getting on-the-job training. But to say he's vastly overrated is just wrong. He's just young. Tony Williams, what's up? John Bro. Morning, Matt. Days being held to 3 points was huge in the loss. Not keeping them off the boards. The rebounding was off. Getting beat by 10 on the boards, and then and turning the ball over 16 times, whatever it was. Jared O'Quinn, Charlie Gale, Kenneth Westbrook, Caleb Bernard. So bummed LSU dropped a game to Arkansas. I wasn't expecting it to hurt that much more. Oh, I wasn't expecting it, so it hurt that much more. Got it. Yeah, just got to bounce back. I mean, you lose games in basketball. It happens. So bounce back and you get a win. You're not like that. You lost a game you're expected to win. Now you need to win a game that you're not expected to get to sort of offset that one. All right. Keith H. Matt, like the shirt? Will Drew make an appearance today? I don't know, Keith H. Hope so, but he's still in the bed. So maybe we'll hear the door open soon enough and he'll come pounding through here. Let's see. Gulf South. The fact that in 2022 we have self-driving cars, but the NFL still uses 2 sticks and a chain to measure first down is mind-boggling. I agree completely. I've said for years, Gulf South, they should use the same technology, the Eagle View technology that they use for tennis to show if a ball is in or out. They could use the same thing. The reason they don't, Gulf South, is because of money. Rich people don't like to spend their money. That's why they're rich. That's why the NFL won't hire full-time referees. But yes, they should absolutely institute that technology, like laser technology, to determine if you've reached the line to gain 10 yards of chain linked together between 2 sticks is antiquated, just stupid. Eric Wilderrotter, as of right now, what running back do you think ends the season with the most carries? John Emery. Ryan Pike, I feel like they still use chains for tradition more than anything. It's because they don't want to spend the money. Kyle Miller, good morning. Matt from Canton, Mississippi, where we woke up to 7 inches of snow. Wow. Brandon, wonder who sent the first text message of the Bengals winning a playoff game? Dwayne Dumars, Matt, do you think Will Wade is the coach of basketball? Great recruiter, below average coach. I disagree, but I hear a lot around the basketball. No, I think Will is meticulous with his attention to detail. I think his set plays, especially inbound plays, are creative. How many times do you see LSU get easy baskets at the start of a half or out of a timeout because they have set plays that work really well? I think Will's a great coach in that respect. I think it's so different in basketball and football also because of the continuous action nature of basketball as opposed to football where you're whistle to whistle for a play. And there's so much of that strategy implemented. In basketball, it's almost like a fight where you have to fight in the strategy and how to punch and counter punch and have that that game plan going in. So I don't even know that you could really compare basketball and football in the same vein. Hey, Brian Penn, good morning from West Monroe. Your fave 5 head. What's the ceiling for men's basketball? Do they have enough shooting? Ceiling? I told you I picked them in the Final Four. I wish they had Adam Miller on this team. Guy that could create offense when you need it. Would have helped yesterday, but you don't. Get Xavier Pinson back, and see if your offense can become more efficient. It's always easy to talk the day after a loss and to assume the worst. Like, they're going to lose, they're bad, they're not as good as we thought. I mean, y'all all thought that after they lost to Auburn. And so Auburn's really good, and you were on the road and tough place to play. And Arkansas is good, y'all. Arkansas is a tournament team. That was a ranked basketball team that stubbed its toe early in conference play. But that's a good basketball team that beat you yesterday. Sometimes you lose games. Like, is this team capable of going on a run? Absolutely they are. Tazzer Johnson, why do you think no college has hired Joe Brady as an OC? Can't imagine why. George Reitmeyer, good morning. Mr. Jones, what's up? Will LSU win a title in the next 3 years? Football? Somebody asked me over under national titles under Brian Kelly, 1.5. And I said under. But I do think they'll win one. Just look at the history over the last 20 years. 03, 07, you were in it again, and 11 and lost, of course, then 11 to 19, so you were 8 years between, but you got that one. I certainly think they're more than capable of winning multiple, but I would just play the percentages and say that like 07 to 19, you won one in those 12 years, played for another though. So I'd say they get one. Will they get it in 3 years? I think it really, really depends on what happens at quarterback. If Walker Howard develops into a guy, like a legit stud, then yeah, I mean, I think they could win one within 3 years. Let's see. They played Vandy last year. Hill got injured in that game. Oh, baseball. Okay, they played at home. That's right. You're right. So they missed Florida then. I know it was either Vandy or Florida they didn't play last year. They missed one of those last year. Elite Goods LLC, Johnny Five, what's up? Fudge is something special. Fudge gives off Tyrus Thomas vibes in a big way. Ryan Pike, LSU plays a trap game the first time I bet on them this season. Yeah, that's why I never bet on LSU. I don't ever bet LSU or Saints. Almost broke the screen smashing the like button. Thank you, Elite Goods LLC. Randall Offrecht, Arkansas is much better than Florida because Florida was desperate for a win at home and couldn't beat LSU. Arkansas is pretty desperate too, man. They're 1-3 in conference without their coach. They did not want to start 1-4. How would you grade LSU's recruiting class at this point with the recent transfers? I think they're filling needs. I think they most definitely need cornerback help. Fouché and Brooks are both SEC guys, with a ton of SEC experience. I think that come in and play and give you help immediately defensively. I think West Weeks is a guy that gives you another major college football body at linebacker where you're very thin. Kyron Lacey, I don't know what role he plays offensively, but you need numbers at receiver. The kid, the long snapper, obviously is going to be your long snapper. Then I think Miles Frazier is going to start on your offensive line. So, but if you've picked up a couple of starters and some really key rotational players on defense, I mean, you don't typically get that from a freshman class. Typically you have a couple of guys that plays as freshmen. Maybe a lot of guys that get on the field, but that really impact your team. But that's what Brian Kelly needed in this class because their numbers were so low. So grade the class B+ with a chance, depending on how the numbers go, to finish with an A. Wayne Parker, Matt, sorry if you covered this. I've been in ICU waiting isolated. Oh, I hate to hear that, man. What, if any, new additions has the O-line or D-line added? Miles Frazier is the only offensive lineman that they've added, the FIU transfer, but we knew that already. And D-line, none yet. Hope you're feeling better, Wayne. Hope you get well, man. Ray Pontiff, let's see, you were wrong earlier since he took a timeout to review the Renfro play. Are you sure? Because I'm almost positive, because they even mentioned it on the broadcast about how that worked the way that, because Taylor was about to throw the challenge flag and he didn't have to. Randall Offrecht, LSU went 5 minutes without a bucket down the stretch. That was brutal. I mean, and like I said, when J.D. Notae went out of the game, well, this was about an hour ago when I said this, but for those just joining us, when J.D. Notae went out of the game, you had a chance to not only get them on the ropes, but deliver the knockout blow, and LSU went on a long scoring drought. And then Notae came back in the game and cranked up the offense for Arkansas, and LSU went 5 minutes without scoring. It was brutal way to finish. They had good looks too. Using the changes, the nice dramatic effect, true. Shout out to Brock, y'all. As always, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. After Hours Clinic is open today. So if you need an orthopedist, you can bypass the ER and go to Brock. Of course, new year, new career. Brock is hiring. And of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. If I was talking to someone yesterday, actually it was Shelly Melanson at Rufino's, and he was telling me, man, being down in like Grand Isle and down in like the Bayou area, just how much of that is just still decimated from Ida. I hear Drew. He's singing the Sesame Street theme song. But listen, if it's you, someone you know, a friend, family member, neighbor, who needs help with the roof, we can work with the insurance company, even if you've been denied already. Let us take a stab at it. Roof repairs, roof replacements, soft wash, we do it all. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Joseph Falsgraf. You pronounced my name right. Love the show, Team Drew. Thank you. Yes, that's Pfalzgraf. That's pretty easy. Silent P. Falsgraf. Yeah. I think that was a pretty easy one. There, I've been somewhere I've been stumped, Joseph, but glad I nailed that one. Coming from someone whose name is mispronounced all the time. Brandon, come on, Matt. Last time the Bengals won a playoff game, the first text message hadn't been sent yet. Oh. Hey, Drew. Good morning. No. No. Drew, you want to come say hi to Dad's show? Drew, you want to come say hi? No. Brandon, Adam Fontenot, Shay D said Baskerville's returning. Really? I thought Baskerville had already announced that he was leaving. That's phenomenal if Micah Baskerville's returning. Let's see. This was Jan 7, Baskerville to declare for the draft. Shay said Baskerville denied reports of him declaring for the draft, which came from a fake Instagram account. Okay. Baskerville has not made a final decision. Okay, good. That's fantastic. Well, let's see. If they get him back, that's awesome. I think Baskerville last year in 2020 was one of the guys that turned the defense around near the end of the season, and I would love to see him back at a position where you desperately need dudes. That would be awesome. Marcus Descluet, good morning. Gulf South, maybe it's just me, but if you pay a coach $100 million and let him push all the reset buttons in the entire program, he better win more than one title, considering Coach O burrowed his way into one. That's fair. But a lot of coaches, I think we've also been a little, we've been definitely spoiled. Think about, think about how long it took Kirby to win one at Georgia. Jimbo's going into his 5th year at A&M next year. He still hasn't won one. Kirby is in year, let me look it up. Wow. Kirby's first year at Georgia was 16. So this was year 6, and Kirby finally got his. Now, could he win another one before, in another 3-4 years? Sure, could. Will he? Don't know. But I just think we're so presumptive just assuming that LSU is going to win national championships. But I understand why that is the expectation. But I think we've lost sight of how hard it is to do. Trey Guy, need 100 people to smash the like button. We're not there yet. 182 watching. We're at 86 likes. Let's smash that like button. Let's get it over 100. We appreciate y'all greatly, as always, for hanging out with us here and smashing that like button. Don Tomasini, and by the way, if you haven't yet, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. We go live every morning for Morning Scone. This is where we do Nightcap with Scone on Wednesdays. Whenever we do live post-game reactions or companion shows, this is where we do it. So if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, set notifications. This is where we go live. And Facebook as well. So you all know that. Please like the page if you haven't done so yet. Cortland, are you still thinking the Georgia wide receiver coach hadn't heard anything since the championship? Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything to the contrary, Cortland. So if that wasn't going to happen, you probably would have heard that similarly. Remember, Georgia just had their championship celebration yesterday, so maybe it's one of those things where they wait till tonight or tomorrow to announce. Is Pete Warner good enough to replace Demario Davis when the time comes? That's a big ask because you're saying basically, is Pete Warner an all-pro linebacker? I don't know. Is he good enough to be a starting linebacker in the NFL? I think so. I think he did really well this year when Quan got hurt. He surprised a lot of people stepping in as a rookie. But yeah, get it rolling, man. See how much more runway he's got. Ray Pana, if Skycam called in when the Raiders receiver caught the ball and the refs ruled it incomplete, that was the play. That was the play I was talking about. It was Renfro on the sideline, and the Bengals defender knocked it out of his hands. Because they said they initially ruled it a fumble on the field, and then like a catch and a fumble out of bounds. That's the play I'm talking about on the sideline. We're probably talking about different plays involving Renfro, but that's the one I'm talking about. It was on the sideline. Renfro caught it. Looked like he took 2 steps, but didn't make an act, consistent with the game. They brought in Terry McCauley, and they even said, look, it was good. They got it done right away. He didn't have to throw the flag because Taylor was about to throw the challenge. But I think we're talking about the same play. Is it true you won't be doing baseball companion shows anymore? Yes, true. LSU, part of our new contract, Guarantee's new contract with LSU was we cannot do companion shows. And I was like, well, they can't tell me what to do on my own channel. It's not an ESPN channel. And I was told no, it extends to ESPN's personalities. I'm like, that sucks. The fact that LSU has basically dictated to me when I don't have a contract with LSU, but they've dictated to me what I can do on my channel, which is crap. But I'll play ball. I'll be a good soldier. All right, any more. Todd Ayers have to find a center in the portal. Yeah, if there is one. If not, I think you really hope that this is Charles Turner's year where he takes the big leap. Bill Galley, and then Fitzgerald West would kind of be your backup. Bill Galley and Bengals in the Super Bowl. I'd love to see it. Probably a little premature for that, but it'd be awesome to see. Nicholas Swear, any word on Jacoby Matthews? Nope, not yet. Jonathan Kevin May, thank you. Appreciate you as well for being here. Kyle DeVille, morning, Matt. Ready for round 2 in the wild card playoffs? Yes, sir. All day football. I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Skycam called in when the Raiders receiver caught the ball. They called it complete. That's the what's confusing here? That's the play I'm talking about. It was Renfro on the sideline. He caught the ball, took 1-2 steps. He got punched out of bounds. They initially flew through the blue beanbag, ruled it. Maybe was it not Renfro? But it was the play on the side. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Renfro is a Raiders receiver. That's what I'm talking. We're talking about the same play. I thought it was Renfro. Maybe it wasn't Renfro, but it was a Raiders receiver on the sideline where he caught the ball, punched it out of bounds. It looked like he took 2 steps, but didn't make an act consistent with the game. They threw the blue beanbag. Sky Judge helped. Maybe it wasn't Renfro, but we're all talking about the same play. I'm surrounded by Arkansas fans, so seeing Woo Pig Suey all over my Facebook feed makes me want to throw up. Yeah. They have so little to cheer about, Caleb. Like, really. They've had so little to cheer about in their lives. Like, they're so pumped about an Outback Bowl win. It's okay. Jared Honeycutt, thanks for sharing Go Edit's post. Daniel's one of the most genuine dudes you'll ever meet, and finally getting a good bit of recognition thanks to guys like you. Yeah, man. So I felt bad. Jared, you might have been the one on Instagram who tagged him. I retweeted his tweets, and then I thought the graphic was awesome, so I shared it on my Instagram. But I didn't see his IG, and so I put in the description like credit, Go Edits, whatever. But I didn't have him tagged. So I'm glad, it might have been you, Jared, who came back and tagged him in the comment. And so then I went and I tagged him in the post in the description. And then I shared one of his other ones to my story. So maybe his account will get some play. Yeah, really good job. It's a really good job. I just never want to be the guy that's like I hate when people do this to me. So I didn't want to be the guy where someone is kind of stealing your IP and posting it under their own account for their own benefit. I just thought it was a cool graphic, and I wanted to tag him in it. So anyway, but it kind of ended up popping a little bit. So I want to make sure that he got some positive pub from it. But yeah, it's Go Edits, Geaux. I think it's EDITZ maybe on Facebook and I'm sorry, on Twitter and Instagram. So really, I mean, did a really cool graphic of the Arkansas guys of Brooks and Fouché for their like commitment edit. Looked really cool, really good stuff. Paul Landry, good morning from Johnson City, Tennessee. Any Tennessee games Saturday in Knoxville? All right. Hope Tigers pull that one off. David Tolson, coach and team chemistry with talent always helps in earning championships. Dale Broussard, has GameCoin taken on VC debt? No, sir. David Mailer is completely funding it altogether. I will tell you there are VC firms that are interested. Kyle DeVille, Coach O, may not have been a good head coach, but was a hell of a recruiter. The problem, Kyle, is that he didn't recruit to his team's needs. He recruited the star rankings, and that's how you end up with no linebackers. Clark Tiger Davis, let's see. Ray Pond, the other receiver where he got his hand under the point of the ball. That was a good catch. So that's the one where they ruled, but that's the one where they ruled it a catch, where the Raiders receiver caught the ball when he got his hand. They ruled it incomplete, but ultimately said it was a completed pass with his hand under the ball. Isaac Landry, yo, Mr. Hudko. What's up, Isaac? Good morning. Patrick Cason, how do the companion shows hurt LSU? They think it's exactly, Patrick. It's short-sighted and stupid and neurotic, but they think it takes audience away from their broadcast. Anyway, they see this competing with their broadcast. Henry Garrett's the third, good morning. Caleb King, where can I buy GameCoin? Good question, Caleb. I will post at the website, thegamecoin.net. We have produced step-by-step instructional videos of how to buy GameCoin. So this should help. I'll go ahead and post that. Boom. There. I just posted it there in the comments. How to buy GameCoin. Great time. Buy the dip. Buy the dip so you ride to the moon. Jared Honeycutt. Yeah, he did. Thanks. It's spelled slightly different on Twitter. Okay, good. Larry Gainey. Before that play, the receiver dove to make the catch, ruled incomplete, overruled. He did have his hand under the ball. Quick Skycam call. Right. David Tolson, checking in from Vegas. All right, David. Kyle DeVille, any word on what kind of defense we will see at LSU football this year? 3-4-4-3. Both. I think you'll see a hybrid. All right. What does LSU gain by shutting down the watch alongs for bait? Well, is it advertising? Right. They want. I just kind of talked about that. The companion shows. Oh, really? Just announced by ESPN, a referee crew from the Bengals Raiders game won't be officiating more playoff games this season. First time I hear refs being made accountable. I know they're all graded. Like they are graded, so the better crews are the ones that get playoff games and then like Super Bowl and all that sort of stuff. It is kind of a reward to get that stuff. So, but it is interesting. Sometimes that doesn't ever get made public though. Boo Daddy 1092. I think refs should have to answer questions from the press for questionable calls. I agree. I've always thought they're a part of the game and they should have to answer questions. Do they not know how companion shows work? Exactly, Murder Giraffe. Whatever. Keith H. Mack, can you repeat the name of the new podcast? Yes, LSU Daily. LSU Daily is the name of the podcast. So, first episode will drop tomorrow, and looking forward. It'll be the same premise as what I did with Locked on LSU. It'll just be under the Guarantee Podcast Network platform. So, LSU Daily starting tomorrow. Tommy Howard, no more whiskey and wine. We could do whiskey and wine, Tommy. So we can't do the companion shows which air during the game, like where we're watching the game all together, basically. But whiskey and wine is fine. Pre-game stuff is fine. All that sort of stuff is fine. Trivia. If GameCoin hires me, you could call me and I would answer the issues you have. And come on. Okay, trivia. Call. Email info@thegamecoin.net if you want to be hired. I don't know if, are you crypto savvy, Trivia? I really don't know that about you. What will your dream Super Bowl matchup be this year? I would just love to see the Bengals, and I'd love to see Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. That'd be awesome. And I really don't care about the NFC. I mean, if it's not the Saints, I'm just not interested. Let's see. Any more? Let's see. What time is your new show? It's not a new show. It's just a podcast that's going to drop in the morning, like I was doing with Locked On LSU. It's going to be called LSU Daily, and it'll be live in the mornings. Chance Babin, LSU picked up a solid linebacker. We need linebackers. Yes, we talked about that at the beginning. West Weeks from Virginia played his freshman year. Virginia broke his leg at the end of the season, so don't know if he'll be available for spring, but definitely a body that they needed that time. Kyle DeVille, do you have picks on the games for today? Yeah, I mean, I do like I like Tampa at home. I do like the Niners to beat Dallas. I'll probably take the Niners and the points, but I'm thinking about a money line play on that one. And then I think, excuse me, and obviously Kansas City in the nightcap, but 12.5 is such a big number. I don't know that I can like 12.5. All right, let's see. Might be just about done here, y'all. Glenn Garner, I can't smash it for y'all. We need 4 more to get to 100. We're at 97 likes, 174 watching, 97 likes. Can we get 3 more likes on YouTube? If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't smashed that like button, please do so. We appreciate that greatly. Chad Landry, Brandon Reeves would be something if Joe and the Bengals got to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm not banking on it, man, but there we go. We're at 100. Thank y'all. I'm not banking on it, but it would be great to see. But look, in year 2 to have won a playoff game, to have won the division, pretty incredible stuff. If the Saints can't find another playmaker, wide receiver, how about finding another dynamic running back to pair with Kamara? I absolutely think that they'll add another running back this year, but they have to add a receiver. I mean, Michael Thomas will be back, but they've got, and listen, I like Marquez Callaway as a number 3 or 4, right? Michael Thomas, another dynamic 2, Callaway, Deontay Harris, that's a good receiving core. I'm with that. Juwan Johnson, Lil Jordan Humphrey, as your number 5, yes, I'm down with that. But they got attitude. They got to. Brandon, Matt, will you be doing shows from the left coast? Dude, every day. We do Morning Scone every day. I've done Morning Scone on vacations. I've done Morning Scone on holidays. I've done Morning Scone from hotels and airports and my car and all over. Yes, so absolutely. What do you think the Saints should do at quarterback? Go after Russell Wilson. If you can't land Russell Wilson, I think you sign Jameis. Bill Gallion, I just like seeing Dallas get beat, and the bigger the game, the better. Okay, I'm not like a Dallas hater. I'm unemotional when it comes to the Cowboys. They just haven't been relevant in so long. And I don't mean that as a slight. They just haven't. I mean, they won a Super Bowl since the early 90s. Since 95. So I just don't care. And don't get me wrong, I hate San Francisco. I mean, Atlanta and San Francisco are the two teams in the NFL I hate the most. I mean, San Francisco was in the old when the Saints were in the old NFC West. I mean, my whole childhood was when the Saints finally were good, but could never beat Montana and the Niners. The Saints would be freaking 12-4 and in the wild card round because Montana was 13-3. So I hate the 49ers. I mean, this game today, there's not an ounce of me that could care less about either team. I just think this San Francisco team, especially with Trent Williams healthy, if Garoppolo doesn't turn the ball over, I think they're going to win. I just think they're a more physical team. I think they can control the pace of the game. And Dallas's defense isn't good. They just force a lot of turnovers. So if San Fran doesn't turn the ball over, I think they'll win the game. We'll see. I think it'll be a good game, though. Chance bad, but if Mike Jones returns, do you think House can coach him up to be all SEC? Look, all SEC, you're talking about a subjective award there that's voted on. I don't really care about that. But could he coach him up to be a 100 tackle guy and a top 3 round, a top 100 draft pick? Yeah, I mean, he's got the talent to be that. Absolutely. All right, y'all. Caleb King. When do you think Gamecoin will be? It's tradable on Coinbase. So, Caleb King, I would highly recommend you go listen to the AMA from Friday with me and David Mailer, the co-founder, CEO of Gamecoin. He did talk about that because a lot of people ask about those larger exchanges. What most people don't know is that to be on Coinbase or on Crypto.com, you have to hit a certain volume daily for like 90 days. So maybe it's $1 million in volume per day for like 30 days or something like that, or for like 90 days. And then there's like $1 million listing fee. So we're not there yet. We're not close to being there yet. Would love to see it, boom and have that happen more quickly. But I think what you got to keep in mind is Gamecoin is still just 7 months old. I mean, it's a baby. So we're going to get there, but patience. In the meantime, there are a few more exchanges that we are about to add. One of them is Gate.io, and Mailer said the other one on the AMA, and I forget, it's just slipping my mind right now what the other one was. All right. Tim Forche switched to YouTube to hit the like button. Back to Facebook. Good morning. Thank you. Appreciate that. Man, y'all just keep on coming. I was just about to wrap it up. Y'all keep coming. Brandon Reese, hope the Bucks lose for sure. Blanche Hudson, is that Hudco hat stapled to your head, or is there something going wrong under there? Dude, it's all about having your logo present. I mean, I wear my Hudco hat on every live I do. I wear it all over the place. It's constant branding. Absolutely. I want people to see this all the time. I want people to see this logo, to know this logo. I am all about guerrilla marketing Hudco. So screen grab it, tweet it out there. Say, man, does Scone wear anything but a Hudco hat? Be sure to @ Hudco Roofing on Twitter or IG or whatever. Murder Giraffe, would you do an AMA on Reddit? I think it would help Gamecoin get to a larger audience. Absolutely. Open to anything like that. Brendan Reese. All right, any more? You can see Gamecoin on Coinbase, but it's not tradable. Correct. And you can see it on a lot of those, on CoinGecko, on CoinMarketCap. You can see it listed there where you see the price. Correct. All right. Am I tripping or did I hear Iraq laughing super loud in the background? You did not hear Iraq laugh. Drew is in there watching Erica's phone. Erica's still in bed in there. So we have not seen Erica yet this morning. All right. Now I think we're done. It would be cool to do a morning scone from Alcatraz. I'm telling you, Alcatraz ain't happening. I'm telling you, my wife is not going to tour a prison on her vacation. Not happening. Like 0% chance we're going to. I would love to. I think it would be awesome. 0% chance Erica is going to tour a prison. All right, we're really done now. Thank y'all very much for watching. I appreciate it greatly. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. They're the best. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. It's just what you do. And in 2022, Brock is hiring. So new career, new year, new career, Brock, brortho.com, brortho.com. And of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing and hudcoroofing.com. Roof repairs, roof replacements. We can soft wash your roof. HUDCOroofing.com. Commercial or residential. Give us a chance. Let us go to work for you. We'll work with your insurance company. We'll get your claim approved, and we will get you a brand new roof at Hudco Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. Y'all have an awesome day. Peace. Glenn wants one more Hudco us. Okay, one more for the road, Glenn, just for you.
Need a roof? Call someone you know. Scone and Terrio. All you need is Hudco. Call Hudco Roofing. 364-1007.
All right. Y'all have a great day. See you next time.